Michelle, why don't you talk to us a little bit today about your family?
Okay. My husband and I have been married for 13 years. We have 2 boys and a little girl. Our son Braden, about the time he was 2, we started noticing that he was having some speech concerns, and we really were wanting him to be intelligible to other people. And so we started looking in the ECI services and really started going through that avenue and got the help that we needed for him. And then he was able to go to Head Start when he turned 3.
And you have another little guy who has gone through that process as well. Talk to us a little bit about him.
Tyler. We noticed Tyler when he was about 8 months old. We didn't hear those normal cooing and ahs and all the baby noises that you hear. And we kept watching it, and he was much quieter as a child than his brother was. So with ECI, he was tested and qualified and was able to receive services at our home or at grandmother's home who watched him. And that really started to help.
So when he entered Head Start, he was just getting speech and language services, correct?
Yes, he qualified for Head Start just for speech. We didn't have other concerns at that time. It was just being able to be intelligible to other people.
So once he got into services in the public school system, when did you start becoming aware that there might be some other stuff happening and going on?
We kind of just kept watching him. The teacher had concerns, we had concerns, we had behavior concerns at home too, and speech concerns at home. And then it was about March that we all just kind of went, oh, it hasn't gotten better. We've given him the gift of time, and just things needed to move along faster. And so spring break is when we really started getting him tested for what are we working with, what are we dealing with, do we have other concerns, or is it truly just speech, or what are we dealing with?
And what did the results of that evaluation reveal?
We took him to a neurologist, and so we had him tested for seizures, and he does have silent seizures, and so he got put on medicine and is under a doctor's care for that. And then we still have our speech concerns, which he's getting services for that. And then we also had an autism
evaluation.
They tested him at school for suspected autism because the teacher had concerns, we had concerns at home, and he does qualify as a student with suspected autism. They will retest him when he's in kindergarten, just to give him some time and to see if some of those characteristics are still there.
I'm going to ask you a little bit, as a teacher, from your teacher side, about your experiences with inclusion. So before my coming to Lamar 4 years ago, talk to me about what you had experienced or your knowledge about inclusion services.
Our speech kids that received speech services were just on a pull-out system where they were pulled out to go to the speech teacher's room, and then they came back. We never knew what they were working on, what skill we should be helping improve, what to be watching for in the classroom. And so when Miss Rainey came, inclusion was something that was very different. It was something that we worked together and learned through, but it's what best benefits our students.
Were you nervous at first when I said, "Hey Michelle, I want to come work with you in your classroom"?
At first, it is a little daunting to think about that someone's coming into your room that is knowledgeable and that knows your students on a different level and that's looking for something different than you are. But when it's a great partnership, it works well to benefit each other. You learn a lot helping each other and working with the student, and the student benefits a lot.
Absolutely, it's a dual benefit. I learn a lot from you guys too. So having that experience as a teacher, were you nervous at all when I recommended inclusion services for both of your boys?
No, it's what's best for both of them, because that way their teacher, the person who sees them all day long, can work on those skills that they need, and then the teacher who I see more often can tell me, oh, well, they did this or they did that, which are speech goals that they're working on. Tyler actually, with the testing that we did over spring break, he qualified for the PPCD program. However, we decided not, as parents, not to take that route the next school year and leave him in the classroom that he was already settled in with the students and the teacher that he already knew. And we thought the inclusion was the best route for him versus going to the PPCD program.
And what was it about inclusion and that inclusion choice that drew you that way instead of going with, the specialist route in a more restrictive environment for him? What was it that drew you to that choice?
Inclusion allowed him to be in the environment he had already been in. At that time, he did need more support. However, since it was his second year being in the program, he benefited more from being with kids that were more age appropriate and that were doing the skills that we wanted him to be able to do. He was able to build relationships with those students who he had already been with for a year and would be for the next year. And those benefits were just so much greater to leaving with inclusion with the teacher that was familiar with where he had come from and where he was going.
So you have already told me that your Head Start teacher fought for him.
Oh.
She advocated that he needed to be at Head Start in her classroom and that she would target those goals even without those PPCD or specialist services. So how did that feel as a parent sitting at the ARG table? What went through your mind or what went through your heart at that time?
Yeah, all of the flags, all of the testing, all of the information came back that saying he needed to go to PPCD. PPCD was where he belonged. Well, that's hard to hear for your child who you want them to go to kindergarten. You want them to be in Head Start with their friends playing in centers. But his teacher, she wanted him. She loved him. She worked hard for him. She got him to where he was, and she wasn't ready to just give up on him and say, oh, now he has to go to PPCD. Forever we will be grateful to her for fighting for our child and for working so hard with him and giving him the best head start that he could, because without that, all he knew was every year you change schools, you change classrooms, you change teachers. But she gave him 2 years of a solid foundation that started him off on the right foot.
So that brings us to some success stories. Share with us your celebrations.
Oh, we have so many. Like I said, my house is never quiet with 3, but my 2 boys, from coming with such speech problems and speech concerns, Braden, my oldest, we would say he spoke Pig Latin, because when he started, he put the ends of the words on the beginning. He was unintelligible to everyone. I had to translate. I didn't even realize that it was so natural to just parrot what he said so that others could understand him. And he now reads so well. He makes friends everywhere we go. His speech has greatly improved. He has vocabulary that astounds you all the time. Tyler, he can play. He has such an imagination. He will work so hard and just love everyone that he's with. But one of our biggest success stories is finally being able to help someone else, to see that we've gone through this for a certain reason. Our information has helped somebody else.